All right. Well, my name is Angela Gray, and I am the founder and chairman of Rick's Market Foundation. And I'm so excited to announce our 2025 Black Philanthropist. And so I'm just going to ask that he give us his name and introduce himself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Grant Gibson. I was born and raised here in Charlotte, and I'm currently a sourcing analyst at Foodbuy, which is a part of Compass Group USA.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I just want to share before I start the questions. Grant actually was one of my Sunday school students way back in middle school. And one of the reasons we selected him was because of he was a wonderful help and he helped us to kind of start one of the programs we have now, our Holiday Suites for Kids, which helps to support children without stable housing. So, it's so good to see him all grown up, and I can't wait to hear his insight on these questions. So, first question is Merriam-Webster defines philanthropy as goodwill to fellow members of the human race, an act or gift done or made for humanitarian purposes, an organization distributing or supported by funds set aside for humanitarian purposes. After hearing this, how do you think Black philanthropy is similar or different from the definition I read?
Black philanthropy, I would say, is definitely in line with that definition. I think the things that we've done to make sure that we as a whole can stay together and stay strong and kind of fill the gaps that have been left, I think it's huge. But I think there's also been some things done over the past few years to make sure that the history that we have is not erased, which is important for the next generation. So they know some of the things that our ancestors had to fight through. So I think it falls in line with that for sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So our next question is, many people think of philanthropists as people who make large cash donations. Even now, Black-led, Black benefiting U.S. organizations receive less than 2% of philanthropic dollars. How do you think Black philanthropy has helped fill this void?
I think we've helped fill the void because the one thing that we do as a race is we give when we can and we give what we can always. It doesn't even matter if it's $5 or if it's $10 or if it's $100. If there's a way that we can help, we always do that. And when you put together a lot of donations, it's going to add some value to it. Um, and I think the one thing that I've learned as well, and my perspective on it has kind of changed. Just being my age, I'm like, I can't make $100,000 donation, right? But if I can give my time, if I can, mentor a kid, that's important as well. So I think, we always try to help out with cash, but there's other ways as a race that we step up as well to make sure that we're doing good.
Yep. And that's going to lead to my next question, which is the Greek root of philanthropy may literally be translated as loving people. Can
Mhm.
you share an example of Black philanthropy that doesn't involve a cash donation?
For sure. Yeah. So for myself, I'm 26 years old. And so, I'm just getting started off, but I have a nice perspective on just, college and sports and things of that nature. So I could go back to my local high school and mentor some kids to kind of guide them through, to make sure that, they're prepared for the next steps of life. I think, there's a lot of people now that need some mentoring and need some help. And and that's just the way that I could help out. There's a lot of other ways for others to do the work as well. But I think, I learned I learned that over the past few weeks that it's not just about money. It's about your time. If you can donate your time to somebody, which is important, that goes a long way. So my perspective on it has changed for sure.
Okay. And then our next question is, even though the term Black philanthropy has only been around for a couple of decades, the practice has its origins in African traditions and practices. What are your origins in Black philanthropy?
It's a good one. I would say that mine started back in middle school, as Miss Gray mentioned, which at the time I didn't know that I was considered a like that I would even that was the start of my role, right? But I was probably in the sixth grade, and I can remember. So Miss Gray always taught us in Sunday school, and we were trying to think of something nice that we could do. And so we're like, hey, we need to build a big like gingerbread house. And if I remember it, it was huge. I mean, it was massive. And the reason why we wanted to do that is because, at our church, we always do this event, or they did it in the past before COVID, where they would bring in kids so that they could feel the holiday cheer during that time of the year. And we thought it would be nice if they could have a huge house. And then now here that Miss Gray is still doing that. That means like a lot to me because I didn't know that it was going to go this long. I thought it was a 1 year thing, but here we are like 12 years later and it's still being done. And I'm sure, because I remember back then we saw the joy that the kids had on their face when they walked in and saw it. Um, that really meant a lot to me, just to kind of brighten somebody else's day, which is sometimes all you need to do. So that was where it started. And I had no idea that I was even starting off there, but it's cool to see that it's still going on today.
Yep. And I'm so glad. Like I look back at the pictures of the events through the years, every year as we're getting ready for the next year. And it just brings me so much joy to see like how many people over the years have come through and how they've helped. And to see the kids, like you said, for some of those kids, it could be the worst time of the year. And then to know that people, and I've gotten letters from kids that have said, like, it just meant so much to know that somebody loved me or cared about me or thought about me. And so, like, I'm sure you didn't realize that as a
Yeah.
sixth grader, but those things really impacted kids. And so I'm so glad that I helped to, plant a seed, and I can't wait to see where you go in the future.
Yeah, and I want to give you some props too. Like, I mean, to have to deal with, I think it was probably like 10 of us. It takes a lot of patience and grace. So I want to give you some props for that. But also just the fact that you've kept it going too. Like, I mean, I'm not even sure like how many kids have come through over the 12 years, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah,
And that they always that it means a lot to them, as you said. Just because some people are going through some tough times, but I think that's where we can step up as a race to make sure that even during those tough times they still feel loved. So
yeah. All right, and then we're at our last question. So thank you so much for giving of your time, talent, and treasures. What advice do you have for future generations regarding Black philanthropy?
always be open to helping. It doesn't have to be money. It can be your time. It can be I'm going to say that like help out this group. I'm going to serve meals at the homeless or go serve meals to the homeless. It can be anything like anything that you think that you can give, do it. Just because we've been blessed and it's important for us to pass that on to others as well to make sure that they feel loved.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again. This has been a pleasure talking to you. And like I said, I can't wait to see. I know you have great things in your future, and um, I'll be glad. Maybe we'll do this 10 years from now and see where you are.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you very much.